This would be the biggest announcement in the tokenomics space in history, as far as I'm concerned. So the biggest factor this week is Indocoin. So we just have to say this with a caveat. Many of you will know that we are now on the Indocoin website. Now, this happened late on Friday night, but there were a couple of minor bugs, and Indocoin, we only knew about it, obviously, because lots of members of the community noticed it was on there, because I think they were refreshing the page every 5 minutes for the last few days, because as you'll know, it was quite a late launch. We expected it a good few days earlier. So we apologize, but I will say at this stage that we're not fully announcing it. Indocoin haven't formally announced it. It's just kind of leaked out. So the first thing I'll say is until we've fully tested it and Indocoin have said to us that it should be formally announced, because they'll formally announce it as well, please do not attempt to use it at this stage. There are only one or two sort of minor bugs that we needed to feed back to Indocoin, but obviously it's Sunday now. We fed those back kind of late Friday night, so we expect to hopefully be able to formally announce Indocoin early this week. Now, what that will mean, which is the first stage of this, is direct debit credit card purchases of Evergrow in fiat currencies from about 100, I think it's 180 countries worldwide. So this is a big deal. So you can now buy directly with, for example, pound sterling, euros, US dollars, etc. Now, Indocoin are a pretty big deal. They've got 5 million registered users, I believe, or a little bit more than that. And we are speaking to 3 other credit/debit card payment options, because we don't want to just stop with one. We want to have multiple options, but there will be sort of direct buy buttons integrated onto the website. So these are things that had to be built and designed. So this is why Indocoin didn't happen, really straight away or in time. Now, remember, with Indocoin, they will be using PancakeSwap for liquidity, etc. So this means that full tokenomics, there won't be any compromise on the tokenomics. And I know that tokenomics compromise is probably everyone's biggest concern, and we'll cover that in a short while. Obviously, that's been something we've been working on. So we also expect with the other credit debit card payments for this to be the same. So you'll receive your rewards equally. So there shouldn't be any problem with that. Anyway, so first and foremost, we keep our promises, even though they maybe are sometimes a little bit late. So we're going to be careful not to necessarily announce timelines from now on, because we learned our mistake when we announced the timeline that Indocoin gave us, and it's probably a week late. Okay, so more positive stuff over the week. We've been featured in some major media outlets, a lot of articles saying, we're the next Shiba, we're the next SafeMoon, Dogecoin, etc. We all secretly think that we're better than those projects, although we do like and respect them. But they are multi-billion-dollar projects, and we are at the moment only a little baby at sort of in a range of about 120 to about 160, 70 million. So we've been taking on, since the day we launched, over 1,000 new investors, which is actually quite remarkable. And we're retaining that momentum. So we have 30,000 wallets or more than that now, and it's going up very, very quickly. Now, this is great news, because I know that every time one of the very early or pre-sale investors sells a big chunk of their profits, and bear in mind they are sat on fairly eye-watering profits. So we're not going to get all upset if someone sat on huge profits decides to sell 5 or 10% of their holdings, because it takes a lot of nerve to not do that. But obviously, every time they do that and 1,000 more wallets eat up their sells, which is what we see, we're in this nice range where a whale sells and then everyone eats it up. So everyone's getting all the rewards from those trades. And obviously we think that's great news, because you're far better off being in a project with lots of holders. It gives you a much stabler base for the investment. So the market cap's actually been very stable, because obviously while we're working on these things in the background, we know that it will be a big fundamental announcement that takes us to the next stage of the market cap. So we're really happy that we've got such stability. I mean, we've seen some projects go up and then drop 90% and be all over the place. And although we're still very volatile, we've actually been in quite a nice range. We've had a sort of a rising bottom, as they say. That sounds like a very British sense of humour. But we've had that going on, which is a nice technical signal. So the technical analysis out there will be looking at our chart saying, this is a really nice looking chart. We're happy with this. And it's quite obvious that, as the major announcements come in over the next couple of weeks, we would expect the current market cap, the current range to be broken out of. Obviously, we can't guarantee that. We can't give investment advice, but that was my personal expectations are that, we're in this really healthy range, and I would like to expect new all-time highs as each piece of fundamental news is announced. So I'm really happy with that. We've also paid out nearly $6 million of rewards in the first 4 weeks. In essence, our rewards on average are twice as rewarding as similar projects with similar tokenomics. So There's a lot of great videos that explain why, so I'm not going to go into detail. Again, something that's incredibly unprecedented for our project, which is only a month old or slightly under a month old, is that we will have utilities launching within the first week. We expect content subscription and NFT marketplace to effectively have their sort of soft launches within a week. So bear in mind, there are projects that are worth $10 billion that have no utilities yet. And they're based purely on hyper marketing, which is great because hyper marketing brings lots of people's attention to a project, but we've always insisted on fundamental value as well. Let's talk about big stuff, exchanges and tokenomics. I think the obsession with everybody, rightly so, is what happens when we go on big centralized exchanges to tokenomics. There is not a project out there today that has managed to solve this problem. So let's talk about solving that problem. So along with a number of exchanges, we've been accepted in principle, effectively waiting for us to give them the green light by two major exchanges. We've passed their audits, we've passed their security, and there are a number of other exchanges who have basically said, yep, sign our contract and you can come on board. The two major exchanges basically said, look, we're offering you this tokenomics solution. If you accept it, 3 to 5 days you'll be on our exchange. But what those tokenomic solutions are the compromised tokenomic solutions that every other project in the world is using at the moment. And you guys will be aware of that. I know it's the biggest question. Effectively, what people don't like, understandably, is that when a contract offers rewards, the tokenomics are kept within the exchange. So if there are people trading on Bitmart, for example, all the rewards for the people on Bitmart are shared between those on Bitmart, but then those on PancakeSwap don't get those rewards and vice versa. Although it's not actually a terrible solution because it tends to work out relatively even. I believe that, for example, SafeMoon, although they're on some large exchanges, I think most of their volume is still on PancakeSwap. I may be wrong, but I believe that's the case. So it's not been a problem. But we basically said to these exchanges, just give us a few more days, okay? We are a mature team. We're all sort of businessmen. We know what we're doing. We know that you guys love big announcements, and we could have announced 2 big exchanges and the price would have shot through the roof and everyone would have been happy. And that would have been on compromised tokenomics. So what we're saying is, listen, guys, we're not going to fall to the pressure to just hype the project and make announcements for compromised solutions. We want perfect or near perfect solutions, and that is what we're working for. So effectively, one of the exchanges is Bitmart, because we've already told you we've signed the contract, we paid the money. They're just waiting for us to send them the final solution for the tokenomics. The other we cannot mention because of an NDA, but they have effectively sent us a very, very good proposal for tokenomics, which we've been going all over as a team. I've never been so, I don't know what the word is, but the complexity of the solution, we're talking about pages and pages of documents, like effectively following the flow for different people in different scenarios. For example, someone who has a trust wallet and they want to move their Evergrow to the exchange, how are they treated? Someone who buys on the exchange, how are they treated? The two considerations are the total taxes that someone pays and whether the tokenomics are distributed evenly across everyone in the world holding Evergrow coin. So we believe that as of today, working on the principles that were sent to us by the second large exchange, that we now have the solution. Okay, so this exchange, just so you know, we can't say who they are, but we can give you some basic details. They're an A-rated exchange. They're in the top 10 of 500 exchanges that were rated on transparency and volume. They have billions of daily volume. They have millions of users worldwide. So effectively, we believe that we may have the solution, the golden egg, whereby rewards are distributed evenly across everybody and all volume is counted. So if you hold on Trust Wallet or you hold on a big centralized exchange, you should receive the same proportionate rewards. Now, this would be the biggest announcement in the tokenomics space in history, as far as I'm concerned. And we want to be the ones to do that. And that is why we haven't just said, okay, we're on Bitmart, it's ready, but you've got to, but all the tokenomics are isolated within Bitmart for people who hold in Bitmart. We could have done that and we would have got a bounce in the price in the near term, but that's not what we're trying to do. We are a team who are building a long-term project here. That's why we set out straight away to have utilities, and we want our tokenomics to work for everybody. So this is what we're doing. I believe we have the structure ready now. We're going to do final tweaks after this AMA, and we're going to email it off to the large exchange that I just mentioned. They're going to we believe in principle that they will accept it because they've basically given us the groundwork of things they're willing to do. So we've worked on that to create this solution. So it's going to take a bit of work. It's not easy, but I cannot tell you how massive this news would be for Evergrow coin. We would be making crypto history. And that is why we're willing, I'm afraid, to have people go, when Lambo every day of the week, because we haven't announced that these two exchanges in particular are ready, because these are two major ones that we want to get this tokenomics working for. So we are not interested in short-term hype, short-term price action. We are interested in solving what I believe is the most fundamental problem facing every project in our space. And a lot of projects wanted to just be able to make their news announcement. So they went ahead with these big exchanges without a good solution, and they're stuck with that solution now. So that's why we will take a little bit more time to make sure that the number one priority is not, so we can make an announcement every day, but it's the long-term Evergrow investors and how they get their rewards fairly.